This particular video is going to be about chains and some masking. I've got a paper clip here, and I've got a small staple. I did these testing before this, and also got a really small gold chain. But in order to save some time on the testing, I'm not going to go through the smaller chain because it's worse than this one, so it doesn't really do you much. So it's virtually unfindable. After reading the Beneath the Mask by Danowski, I guess his name. I might link that to this video. It's a write-up on masking targets. He talked about using a staple. I'm thinking he used a bigger staple because this one doesn't do anything. I think it just picks up as mineralization. It's so small. So I'm going to skip that too. Here's the paperclip for masking. And I've got a 14K white gold ring, fairly chunky. And a heavy gold bracelet, 10K. And I've got a silver dime here. And then this is a 10K, and this is a silver chain that I found. It's a fairly heavy silver chain. And this is the first silver I've ever dug that was in a pull tab range. Sounded like a pull tab. So I've got all those. I've got my Sovereign, and I'll be using that with the 10x12 SEF. I've got my Gold Bug Pro with the 5x10 coil, and it's getting a little bit of interference right now, but it's set at 35. See that in the disc mode at 50% sensitivity because that's all I can run right now. And then here's the Compadre over here, and it's turned on with the disc is set right at the in iron. So I'm going to set this down. I've got my bucket of dirt here, and this soil ground balance is on the ground balance is on the Gold Bug Pro at about 80. So we're going to start out, we're going to bury a chain, and then we'll check it and see what it sounds like with all the detectors. So we'll start with the silver chain, and clumped up, that's the way I found it, about an inch down. But if you see the ID, 50s, 60s, 66, sounds like a pull tab, but no problem finding it. The Compadre, no problem finding that, about an inch down. And the Sovereign has no problem finding this either. I'm not even going to go over it. And now, if we stretch this chain out, we'll see what it sounds like. So we'll dig a trench, stretch the chain out. And but you can see how jumpy a chain will make the VID. See how it's all over the place? Nice loud signal, but jumpy. You might think it was like a ball of tinfoil or trash or can slaw. Compadre, no problem. You wouldn't have any trouble digging that. Compadre. The Sovereign, we'll see if it gets too much interference from this, but nope, no problem finding that. So that's covered. Okay, now we're going to move on to the gold chains. We'll start with this heavy chain, and we're going to put it down about maybe an inch, inch and a half, stretched out, straight stretched out. Okay. Now, Gold Bug Pro. See how jumpy that is? Even that heavy chain. This is a really thick chain. Let's see, it's really jumpy all over the place, sometimes dropping down low. Makes it very difficult to find chains. And that's a big chain. Go over to the Compadre. No problem, I dig that every time with a Compadre. That's one of the reasons why a VID detector is not always the best for jewelry hunting, especially gold and chains, because the visual ID will throw you off. It'll tell you not to dig it up, which is not really a good, not really a good arrangement. I'm going to turn the Sovereign on. And we're going to, Sovereign barely fits in my bucket here, but the Sovereign's giving me a nice low tone, and I can't show you the VID on it, but it's 79, 80, jumping a couple times into the hundreds, but it is giving it a nice solid low tone, and I would dig that every time. I would dig that signal. So now we'll pull that out, and we're gonna bunch it like that, about an inch down. Back to the Sovereign. The VID is still jumpy, but we are getting a solid signal. And I would probably dig that. I would probably dig that signal. It's loud enough and solid enough. I would think it was gold, or it could have been. So that's with the Sovereign. And then we'll go back to the gold bug here. Wait, did I do the gold bug? No, not yet on this one. Okay, so the gold bug. See, now we're getting a little bit of a signal. You might dig that, but if you see how it's nice and loud, it's not breaking up at all. But if you look at the VID, it's jumpy. So that's that. And now the Compadre. No problem. So pull that out. My wife is thrilled about all the dirt in her jewelry. Now here's where it starts to get funky. You see this chain? We'll start with it bunched like that in the ground. At about an inch. Here's the Compadre. That's a diggable signal. And then we'll go to the Gold Bug Pro. Let's get it occasionally. See if I can crank sensitivity up. 75%. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I wouldn't dig that. If I was out looking, nope, wouldn't dig it. But with the Compadre, I would dig it. Turning the Sovereign on. Now the Sovereign's getting a lot of interference, but I don't think it's picking it up. It doesn't really like this. If we pull it out, let's do this. You can. Oh, sorry. There's the ID on the Sovereign, which is jumping all over the place. All right, there, it's stabilized. It's almost on zero sensitivity though. Let's try this. So, at close range, it might pick it up, but stretched out, it won't pick it up at all. So, there's that. We'll stretch this chain out. I don't have room to stretch it out flat, but we'll do double here. That. Laid out. About an inch down. The Sovereign won't pick this up at all. The Compadre. Probably wouldn't dig that. So, bunch, the Compadre will get it on, it's laid out flat, no signal. The Gold Bug Pro. I'm not getting it. You can find it easy if you put it in the. If you put the threshold on. I'll turn the sensitivity back down to 50% where it's stable. But it's giving no ID. so it can find it, but it just can't ID it. Okay, so that's gold chains. Not an easy thing to find. Pretty good odds that if this was laying in the park, you'd pass it up with just about any detector. There's not much that would find it bunched up. Looks like the Tesoros might find it, but that's about it. Next one I'm going to go with, I've got to take my 2 targets. I've got a silver dime and I've got my big chunky ring. We'll start with that. I'm going to put it down here. It's down an inch, maybe an inch and a half. And we're going to show you some masking problems that are interesting. Good signal. Paper clip on top of it. Still a good signal with the Compadre. Pull that off. Gold Pro. Great signal. Not digging that. All iron. You'd miss that ring with the Gold Pro, or at least I would. Let's see if I can do something with the Sovereign here. Okay, we're going to try the Sovereign. I don't know how well it's going to work, but... pull that. Very good low tone, 136, 131, very good tone. Iron on top. Yep, you're still going to find that with a Sovereign, which is great. Now let's kick that down a little deeper. There's the ring. Now we're going to put her down a couple inches down. Now we're at 2.5 to 3 inches. 2.5 to 3 inches. 14K gold ring. And we're going to do the Sovereign. No problem. Definitely finding it. Put this paper clip right on top. Probably still going to find it. The Gold Pro. All iron. It's not. It's just hitting iron. It's too. Maybe it's too sensitive. No problem finding it. Paper clip on top. Iron. Okay. Now the Compadre. It's gone. You might get it occasionally, but with the paper clip, maybe picking it up occasionally. So you might find it. You might get lucky and it might be just off center. But if that paper clip is directly over the top of it, it's gone, even with the little Compadre, which is a great jewelry machine. So there's that, and we'll do this one more time with the silver dime. For the end of the video here, big ring. Silver dime. It performs better than the ring at 1 inch, so we'll just put it down deep and we'll see how it goes. So about 3 inches, it's right there. About 3 inches down, about right there. Okay, so we'll put this little dirt clod right there to know where it's at, and we'll check it. Gold Pro. That's a nice time signal. Put the iron on top of it. Gone. Compadre. No problem. Iron on top. Gone. Just gone. And the last one here, we'll run the Sovereign. The Sovereign is on. In order to get it to run smooth out here, I'm on 0 sensitivity. It's on the bottom, and it's still picking up interference. So, but it's saying 170, 180, 175, 180, 178, 180, 183. So definitely a silver signal. Paper clip. I can't get a good swing on it, but it's shielded. It's hard to pick up. Let's see if I can turn the sensitivity up a little bit. Yeah, the Sovereign might still find that. But it's jumping all over the place just saying iron signals. So, there you have it. Iron masking and gold chains with 3 different detectors. I've got some other coils I could try on this, but it would just take a huge amount of time to make the video, and I don't have it. So, if you're looking for gold chains, my suggestion, beep and dig detector like the Compadre, maybe a Vaquero. I'm sure there's some other ones out there on the market, beep and dig. It would do equally as well, and you got to dig pretty much everything, and certain areas it's just masked by the iron. If there's a nail or a chunk of iron sitting above it like that, you're not going to find what's underneath it, pretty much guaranteed. So good luck, hope you find some treasure. Good day. Okay crew, I've got my Goldbug Pro, it's turned on. I got my tub of dirt here, it's just loose soil. But if you see it ground balanced, right in there. So a ground grab, push the ground grab button and lock it in, and you can hear there's nothing in there. I got my sensitivity at 50%. We're in all metal. We're going to test some gold nuggets that I have. I've got this one, which is exceedingly light. You can see it's got a little bit of chunkiness to it, but it's very small, and I don't have a weight on it. I've got this one, which you can see it says 0.4 grams, and it is a chunky one. I found this with my detector, not this particular detector, but another one. And I've also got this one here, which says 0.075 grams, and it's more of a flake. So first I'll show you that they pick these up on the coil, and then I'll show you, I'll put them down an inch and see how they perform. So, and I've also got this really, really fine, tiny flake. So there you go. We're at 50% sensitivity. And we'll start with this little one. Nothing. We crank it up to 100% sensitivity. Occasional hit. And the bottom of this coil is slightly more sensitive. I think the coil's just a little more close to the bottom, so it'll pick it up a little better, but pretty much right on the coil you might find that. The slightly chunkier one, we're at 100% sensitivity. It'll pick it up about a half an inch up off the coil. At 50% sensitivity, it'll just barely pick it on the coil. Okay, we're still at 50%, 0.075 grams. About 3/4 of an inch. And maxed out. About 1.5 inches. So that's not bad, about 1.5 inches. This is where you're going to start finding the gold. And this is a 0.4 gram at 100%. And that's about 2.5 inches up. We'll go back to 50% sensitivity, which I usually where I have to run it for stability, but somewhere around there. And that's about 1.25 inches. I'm just guessing from the sight here, but that's about 1.25 inches. So there you go. That's those. Now we're going to take this 0.04 gram one, I'm going to put it down about 1 inch in the soil. No VID, but it is picking it up. Go to 100% sensitivity. It is occasionally getting an ID on it, but it's saying it's iron. So there you go. And then we'll go to this other one. About 1 inch down. And 100% sensitivity on this one. It's definitely getting it. And even an occasional ID, and it's saying it's iron. So, there you go. Somehow I set my ground balance off really bad. See? And so there's a quick video of the Goldbug Pro hitting some nuggets and some in soil. So, good luck. Hope we find some treasure.